Hello everyone, I hope that we are doing fine. Today I'm here with another topic. I would like to talk a bit about one of the reasons why communication may not work well and efficiently. Well, there are plenty of literature and self-help materials out there on the importance of communication and how to manage and enhance the quality of our communication skills in general, especially in marriage and in our relationships. Of course, communication is so important for a better, relationship. But the point that I would like to make here is that sometimes we rely much more on communication and the way we perform the communication than our inner truth and the message that we would like to convey. I have met, many people who have felt themselves being, full of resentments and unpleasant feelings and totally unhealed, despite trying really hard to follow their therapist's advices and, not avoiding tough conversations with their partners. They find it odd and unexpected that they remain feeling upset and frustrated after they talk as an attempt to resolve a conflict or addressing a frustrating issue in their relationships with their partner. Well, this is something that many may experience without noticing what is happening inside their body and thoughts. I mean, sometimes the problem is not your communication at all. Sometimes the problem is the censorship of your message, your feelings, your heart. You feel that you cannot allow yourself to say it in another way or deliver the heart of your message in the relational space because, for example, you're afraid for rejection and your partner's reactions. That is the big problem and a red flag. You are doing things after textbooks and advices. You bring it up and show interest in discussing and finding out things, and this is very good, and you try to communicate on the matter, but at the same time you are afraid of rocking the boat. You feel that you do not have the permission to be authentic. So you can be a communication expert, but until you deliberately or unconsciously censor your inner truth, nothing will happen. So a self-eliminating expert maybe also be expert in communication. The key to high quality relationship vibe is to provide emotional intimacy, emotional safety, and receive it, and to be authentic. Let me give you an example. If you feel that you are not allowed to be vulnerable, to be yourself and in contact with your inner truth, and also you feel like you're lonely and not connected enough in your relationship, or that your partner got a somewhat dominating style toward you, such an experience will cause a mental and emotional load which you will definitely wish to get rid of and process. But when it comes to communication, you may prefer withholding your truth rather than expressing your emotions authentically. You may say, for example, "Oh, you see me as a person who works in a house," or that we may take a break or go on a dating trip soon, I assume. I'm tired of having such a boring life, or something like that, very general. Instead of saying frankly and authentically that I feel disconnected in our relationship. I feel that there is something that makes it difficult for me to connect to you and your soul fully, and this concerns me. I really would like to talk a bit about it with you. So instead of saying something that is a little misleading and does not necessarily touch the nuclear of your real experience, you're authentic and communicating efficiently. This kind of authentic and straightforward dialogue without consuming time and energy in censoring your truth and feelings will raise both curiosity and empathy and compassion in your partner toward you. So if you communicate but it does not go through, and then you feel that you are stuck, then you must check out your relationship dynamics. Perhaps you are in an authoritarian and dominant context in your relationship. I remember that one of my clients said to me that, of course, she just has to consider the thing that she wants to talk about several times and review it repeatedly in her head. Otherwise, her husband's reaction will be unpredictable. Interestingly, she did not see this as a problem at the first place. She believed that it is definitely a value in their relationship that she has been so considerate and understanding toward her husband. She was just, used to it. Her husband was a lovely old man who she did not never want to or allow herself to offend or to make upset. So she criticized instead herself all the way for not feeling healed and lightened. And it was difficult for her to pin down what the problem is concretely. But she had a feeling that there is something off about her relationship, and that she could never imagine that it might be about her fear of repercussions from his reactions, his bitterness and disappointment, and the consequences that might arise from expressing her own words and feelings. It was a little difficult for me to show and convince her that the problem has always been her self-editing. It was a long relationship which was formed based on unbalanced latent power dynamics through years. So she was used to it, and of course she had found some love and safety in that relationship atmosphere since she was a very young girl. But definitely, according to my meaning, a censored and limited version of safety without herself knowing and being aware about it. I don't mean that you have to be, not considerate or caring or polite and not taking the other person's emotional and cognitive perspectives into account. No, when I refer to the phenomenon of self-censorship, I mean the act of censoring and classifying and cutting out own discourse and related feelings and meanings out of fear for criticism and sensitiveness of an audience or individual who you are communicating to. This is not fair and is influenced by unbalanced power relationships and control. That is why authenticity and vulnerability are always regarded as the key tools for a good relationship. So I mean that the art of maintaining a good balance and fairly functional relationship quality is about merging authenticity and self-truth of both parts into a communication interpersonal space of the relationship without consuming energy on anticipating a reaction from each other, which is basically supposed to be unpleasant and trigger fear. And to be there, you must be connected to yourself first. Some might think that this should be a female phenomenon for communication issue typically, but experiences say that this is also something that many men struggle with. I would claim that if this is not a more widespread phenomenon in men compared to women, it is at least occurring at the same level in men versus women, but it is not reported enough, because to my opinion many men are unfortunately socialized into be tough by disconnecting with their internal worlds and feelings, and some of them don't really know how to behave when it comes to expressing their inner experiences and feelings, especially in their love relationships. Some of men fall into this dominant style category due to malfunctional relation with their feelings and their bodies, and they just act out their vulnerable parts and emotions. And some other men self-censor themselves and unconsciously deliver the place and agency of their relationship to their partner. So please check it out. If your way of communication is sort of performance and goes at the expense of your truth and feelings, you perhaps should concentrate on your relationship with yourself and the way you take care of vulnerability and authenticity instead of correcting the performance and communication itself. And perhaps to ask yourself why I am in such relationship which put me in an unsafe space and I allow this to happen. What does it say about me? How come I have turned to be an expert of self-abandonment and self-censoring? I hope that you're able to master a brave and honest communication without needing to filter out yourself and inner world, because it is the ingredients of a safe and robust relationship to be honest, authentic, and real self over time. So please share this message with your friends and stay in touch. Thank you. Take care. Bye.